Alexander came. For the past 12 months, I have worked as part of a global delegation of 100 to assist UN SWISSINDO to return the wealth of the world back to the people. My journey to SWISSINDO started from a feeling of despair, emptiness that had driven me to a point of no return. The constant dreariness of daily survival had made it abundantly clear to me that this was not the purpose that I was born for. I had to stop and reach deep down inside myself to see what I had become and where I was going to go. God answered my intent. It was a request for peace and love, nothing else. I held that feeling inside and was shown a direction. When this happened, I began to notice that my external world around me also was looking for a change in direction. It was then that it was made abundantly clear to me that the world around me was the same as the universe within me. Everything that I felt inside was projected outside. To change the outer, I must change the inner. This was the beginning of my journey that led me to SWISSINDO, UN SWISSINDO. Upon my arrival to Indonesia, I noticed the hardship the local people lived with and endured on a daily basis. All these hardship, life experiences opened my eyes. But has this stopped these beautiful people in this country from being happy and getting on with their lives? No. They have had to dig deep down inside themselves and find a creative solution to their problems just to get on by with a few dollars a day. It is inspirational because these are the same people that have opened up their arms to us, fed us, given us support, and shown us their hearts. How can you not feel inspired and humbled by people that share everything that they have just to make you smile? Mr. Sugi is one of these people. He is honourable, loving, humble, and a true humanitarian. He has held the key to solving all of this and is quite capable of waving his hand to alleviate the suffering of the people around him. He is here to change the way we think about each other and connect again with God. This is not just about money, this is about a change in our consciousness and reconnecting us all. Once our most basic needs are met, food, shelter, clothing, schools from the Industrial Revolution mentality will change. There will be schools of spirit, creation, health, and well-being. There will be a quantum advances in science, ecology, spirituality, backed by science. Everyone will be suited to their own learning programs according to their skills, interests, and abilities, and will be able to contribute on different levels, not just 3D, but other dimensions as well. Instead of competing against each other, we will work together to bring about major changes in our community, individual lives and environment evolutionary path. We will support each other with common goals and ideas as we work together to achieve them. Today I thank the Australian Government for accepting this offer of funding payment 1 to 11, which can be received from the Laos Government, with the condition that each country turn their backs on the corporate control mechanism that has manipulated the system of government for over 100 years, and to instruct the armed forces to cease hostile confrontations and to repurpose military to provide humanitarian assistance to the people of the world and release the suppressed energy and healing technologies they conceal. Since I have started speaking about corporate corruption, it has considerably changed my interaction with my friends and people in general. To maintain this point of truth has made me an outcast in some circles. However, at the same time, it has opened new doors to like-minded people that speak the same truth. I have been very fortunate because I have the support of my family, my wife and 2 beautiful children. This has been instrumental in moving this forward, and I am eternally grateful to them all. I see humanity finally reaching for the stars. Unconditional freedom to create in unity as we are designed to be, as long as we follow 3 simple laws. Do no harm, cause no loss, do not impede the freedom of another. We have the technology to travel to the stars. This is my dream. Thank you.
And I'm a father of 3, a life scientist and an independent researcher. 20 years ago I became aware of the restriction in the flow of truth in the Australian establishment, and 3 years ago decided the only worthwhile activity for the remainder of my life was to work within the truth movement in the pursuit of freedom for my children and yours. Due to this work, I was approached 11 months ago by a SWISSINDO trustee representative and asked if I would assist them in the redistribution of their vast wealth to the people of the world by becoming a multinational UN delegate. Upon receiving this request, I felt the truth of their intent resonate within me and immediately said yes, and informed them that if this was a ruse, I would expose this to the world and would undermine this endeavour. A promise I repeat today publicly. Since then, my understanding of the SWISSINDO has grown, and I can inform you that the Grant government team is made up of genuine men and women who all share the same passion to bring real freedom to the people of the world. The SWISSINDO Trust holds 9/10 of the world's wealth, which includes 70 billion kilograms of gold on deposit back in the global banking industry known as Exhibit A and B, and is being returned to the people through a mechanism called Payment 111. SWISSINDO's goal is to give each country's government a sum of $138 trillion debt-free, and a further sum to each and every man, woman and child on the planet, so as to eradicate forever hunger, homelessness and the nonsense forced upon the world by the criminal elite. On March 11, 2014 in Indonesia, I witnessed the signing of this agreement between His Excellency Mr. Sino of the UN SWISSINDO Orbit Trust and the Lao government representative to distribute to each country their funding quota. I thank the Lao government for accepting this role on behalf of the SWISSINDO and the people of the world, and invite all countries to sign on to this goodwill gesture. Today I thank the Australian government for accepting this offer of funding, which can be received from the Lao government. The only condition is that each country turn their back on the corporate control mechanism that has manipulated the systems of government for 100 years and longer, and to instruct the armed forces to cease warmongering and repurpose to provide humanitarian assistance to the people of the world and release the suppressed energy and healing technologies they conceal. These technologies can provide free and unlimited energy everywhere. Please understand that the sun is electric in nature, and the magnetic field around the Earth is evidence of currents. And the magnetic field around the Earth is evidence of current flow. This current can be harnessed easily and simply with simple equipment to provide abundant energy supplies everywhere. Resonant harmonic frequencies can provide healing to most diseases in minutes from inexpensive devices, and have proven to be 100% successful in over 20 years of testing with humans, animals alike, but remains banned because the powers that be cannot profit from them. These technologies will be released and distributed as part of the SWISSINDO mandate to all who ask. I am honoured and grateful to His Excellency Masugi for his vision of a free humanity and to bring peace and harmony to the world. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Jenny Kington. I have been given the title Special Operations Executive of UN SWISSINDO. I first became aware of OPPT whilst working with Anne Bressington, member of the South Australian Legislative Council, in raising public awareness of Agenda 21. Whilst learning more about OPPT, I also became aware of UN SWISSINDO and the White Boy Spiritual Trust, and human obligation. The more I learned about UN SWISSINDO and what they stood for, the more I wanted to be involved. Eventually I was contacted by a member of UN SWISSINDO, which led me to being asked to become a member of the global delegation of 100, of course I jumped at the chance and accepted without hesitation to have the opportunity to work with a group of dedicated people whose sole purpose is to free the world from corporate rule and to return humanity to a peaceful existence free of death, suffering and war. On the 8th of March, I arrived, along with others, in Cirebon, Indonesia, to finally meet with Mr. Sino, AS 681st King of Kings and trustee of the White Spiritual Board Trust, and to attend a ceremony on the 11th of March as a representative of the delegation of 100. My first meeting with Mr. Sino and members of the Indonesian delegation is something I will never forget. It is very hard for me to put into words, as words seem inadequate to explain the feelings and emotion I have attached to that special day. The Indonesian people are just beautiful. Although they have little, they go out of their way to make us feel welcome and to make sure that we have everything we need. The respect they have shown the members of the delegation that have travelled here to Indonesia is truly humbling. And I would like to thank them from the bottom of my heart for all they have done to make our stay comfortable and a successful one. My reason for making this video today is to speak of the event that took place here in Cirebon, Indonesia on March 11th, 2014, where the Laos government became the first government to sign on to the God Sky Earth CVAC system and enabling the human obligation payments 1 to 11 to be released through a clearinghouse that they will provide. For this I humbly thank the Laos government. I also thank the Australian government for accepting payments 1 to 11 on behalf of the Australian people and beginning the process for setting the people free. And I urge them to attend the treaty event planned for June 2nd, 2014. And finally but not least, I would like to humbly thank Mr. Sino AS, 681st King of Kings, for making this all possible. Thank you.
Hello, my name's Natalie Kurt, and I'm with the Australian delegation of God Sky Earth. My brothers and sisters that have spoken today have spoken of many of the legal and informative issues, why we've gathered, why things have happened in the past, not just in the last few years, but also over time in history that have brought us to this point, including the ceremony on March 11th, the Super Smart. What I would like to speak about, and what I would like to call from every person on the planet at this point as I speak, is to reach into your hearts and to call on the foundation of everything that makes everything on top of the very foundation as possible, which to me is the heart. There is a lot of conversation about money, about gold, about currency and financial status, of independent countries and global status, power and financial matters. But what are all of these things without that which we hold within ourselves? So as I stand here today before everyone, I reach out to governments all over the world. I reach out to my own government in Australia. And I ask that before we open our mouths, and before we sign papers, or before we speak to others, we take the moments to consider within ourselves our own fundamental laws, our own fundamental knowing. And I say knowing beyond belief, because belief is yet still a fabric, but it is that which takes us deeper into that which we know is true. I would like to spend this moment to give special consideration and attention to the Laos government, who have been the first government in the world to accept the equality agreement in which God, Sky, Earth offers to every government, to every person, to every man, woman and child on the planet. But it is through our governments, through our parents, as saviours, that this becomes possible. So as we take these steps and we listen to the information that is presented, not only by delegations across the world that have gathered here with God, Sky, Earth, but also the access that we have on the internet and many other sources that are available. I ask that before we speak, we allow our own process of intelligence to be true with every word that we speak from this time forward. I speak from this place because of my true belief, and I will take it beyond to my place of knowing and trust that every single person on this planet has intelligence deeper than that which we have shared with those around us. And it is that I call on now, to stand up, to stand with us, and to create a new platform for which we can stand together as one family, family of man and woman. There are many stories that bring each of us to this place. But when we take the details out of these stories, our stories and our hearts are the same. When we build a house, we do not begin at the roof or the windows or the walls. We stop even before the foundations are made to clear the earth, to clear the ground, to check the rocks. We go over it several times before that initial foundation is laid. And from that solid foundation, great things are built. So to all my brothers and sisters all over the world, and right here in God's Sky Earth, to our governments, to the businesses that support communities, to the individuals, community groups, to every thread of consciousness that moves through our whole society as a global structure. It is no different to that which happens in the smallest of communities. To please be clear before we make those foundations, before we make those choices and before we speak. For this gold that we speak of exists and begins within us. I call each and every person now to find that gold, to know that space, to stand and to look forward from this time forward. As my last point, I would like to acknowledge Mr. Subiato Tongoro, who has made all that we speak and offer and share, really share, back to the people, because it is from the people from which it has come. To give thanks to him for creating the space for us to be here through his own stories, journeys and challenges, to bring forward all that he has, all that you've heard from the other delegates who have spoken here today. In many different capacities, these stories could go endlessly. But here we are talking about the lives of many who have gathered to bring this back